One of the biggest struggles of video games is keeping the audience hooked on the game. Most companies try their best to keep their players invested in their games since a large percentage of their profit is directly related to the quality of life of the game, such as the battle pass system, in-game purchases, DLCs and expansions, or even merch. Having said that, in the modern era where attention is hard to keep, keeping your fanbase entertained for more than 3 weeks is an arduous task that even the best-selling games of all time struggle with. One of the most universal trends online is the 2-week Minecraft phase. Even though it is one of the best-selling games of all time, with a huge dedicated fan base and multiple entries that have turned the IP into a franchise, most of its players can't seem to stomach playing it for a long period of time. In fact, the online presence of the Minecraft community can be mostly boiled down to clowning on Mojang, be it because their updates leave much to be desired, or because they tease their fans with cool mechanics in the mob votes and force them to kiss their favorite mob goodbye as they watch the community vote for a glow squid. See, it's a squid, but it glows. But even though this is all true, it is only an underlying issue of a bigger problem. Minecraft is a mostly self-directed game. Most people have fun creating efficient farming methods to skip the most grindy aspects of the game, like XP for enchantments, or villagers to trade with. Others enjoy creating cool bases and use the game mostly as a canvas for their creative works. Then there's also the RPG players, who grind and grind to get as overpowered as you possibly can. Most, if not all of these aspects are fun to the average player, until they inevitably reach the same conclusion that drained the fun out of the game from every previous server. Why am I even playing this game? There is really not a single obstacle in Minecraft that requires you to engage with all of its mechanics. The Nether is notably more difficult than the overworld, but there isn't much to do there once you get to the Nether Fortress and kill a few wither skeletons in blazes. The Ender Dragon is a huge pushover and can be killed with nothing but a bow and arrows, beds, and a bucket of water. The Wither and the Warden, although vastly more challenging, offer pitiful rewards that don't typically benefit the player or are even remotely fun. Yes, some dedicated players farm beacons to make tasks like clearing out chunks a little less mind-numbing, but these are such niche uses that the average player is not really going to care much for. It is because of this, and much more, that Minecraft is a huge outlier within the medium. But how is it that other games succeed where Minecraft falls short? Some other games provide a consistent gameplay loop that provides a sense of progression simply through the player's increasing affinity within the game mechanics. Take for example Guilty Gear Strive. The game, much like any other fighting game, gets its players hooked with a new sense of reward when they get to learn a new combo, learn a new matchup, learn how to air dash properly, as well as a few occasional balancing patches and DLC to keep the meta fresh. And also, its original soundtrack is filled with absolute bangers. Sekiro is similar in that aspect. Besides its interesting lore and captivating atmosphere, its intense combat is definitely the best selling point. Sekiro is different from other FromSoft games like Dark Souls or Elden Ring. There is a single weapon with very little upgrades you can get. Sure, you can get a few damage boosts, cool schools, and different tools for your prosthetic arm, but there are no broken weapons or builds that can let you stomp on the game. You just have to get good. You try over and over again on a boss, rage 1,000 times, maybe break a few controllers and scream enough to traumatize a Victorian child, but if you can carry through, learn from your mistakes, analyze the boss's attack patterns, and learn how to parry and punish their attacks, you will slowly chip away at more and more of their stance bar, and with enough dedication, you will take them down. This is where the beauty of a polished gameplay loop truly shines. You overcome an impossible task, not through an OP spell that cheaply decimates any boss, but through sheer effort and willpower. You reach the gaming equivalent of a meditative state until you overcome your every obstacle, and are left with a sense of fulfillment and self-improvement. In fact, there is an entire genre of games that almost completely lack any form of gameplay, at least in the traditional sense, and yet they manage to capture a massive audience. Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc is a really unique experience that blends 4 unique gameplay loops, those being the investigation sequences, class trials, free time events. But while the investigation and mystery aspects of the game is definitely interesting and fun, sometimes these gimmicks help to distinguish it from other games in the genre, as well as appeal to a broader audience. Its true strengths lie within its stories and characters. The story of Danganronpa takes place in Hope's Peak Academy, a school where the most talented students in the nation, the very best in their field, are scouted and given the title Ultimate. Among these is our protagonist Makoto, a talentless student that gained admission through a nationwide raffle, earning the title of Ultimate Lucky Student. However, when Makoto arrives to Hope's Peak, he falls unconscious, and once he wakes up, he realizes that he, along with 14 more students, have been trapped inside of the school, and they are instructed that in order to be let out, they must kill one of their classmates. The game uses its setting to showcase a new dimension of its characters. It shows you how they slowly open up to you in a life-threatening scenario, how much fun you guys have together, allows you to deeply bond with them, and then it shows you the fear they feel, wondering if their families are safe, and what is going to happen to them. You get to see how some people seek others who they can trust in a life-threatening scenario, while others choose to isolate themselves out of fear. It is an excellent example of how games who don't even place a big emphasis in its gameplay can capture a gigantic audience, since the community is known as one of the most passionate fandoms on the platform. Which is really impressive considering that the last game in the franchise got released in 2017. And the mere possibility of releasing a 5th game got the creator ratioed on Twitter. But what this tells us is, even if you don't have revolutionary gameplay, charismatic characters, a well-crafted narrative, and a captivating premise and atmosphere can still catch a lot of attention from the public. On the other hand though, Minecraft is the antithesis of what a commercially successful game should be. It offers no sense of direction since there really is not much of an incentive to do anything. The game and XP systems are bare bones and are honestly kind of lame and, basic. But the game is stupid easy, and it doesn't even have an interesting narrative to make up for the gameplay. So the game, besides achievements, completely lacks any sense of real progression. How it managed to break such fundamental rules of game design and still become one of the most popular games of all time is an interesting topic for another day. In the meantime, if you're interested to see an example of why a dedicated community can massively help a game's success, consider checking out this video on Helldivers 2. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're a bit less bored.